Alright, welcome to Old World Gaming. This is our, what is this, our fourth? This is our fourth, mine and my son's, fourth battle of Old World. But this will be like the sixth battle report, I think, of that, if you include the quest one. I don't think Warhammer quest counts. So maybe fifth battle report. One of them was a mini battle report. So our fourth proper battle report. But yeah, like six overall. But I've just finished painting up my my squig hoppers, so I wanted to get a game in with them. So my Night Goblin army has now reached 850 points. I just need to do the Mangler squigs and the other war boss on squig to finish the 1,000 points. But we got 850, so I fancied getting a game in. And my son enjoyed using his Orcs last time, so we did an 850 point army of Orcs. He really enjoyed using his Giant, so the Giant is back. He hasn't used a Chariot before, so I thought we'd try a Chariot out. He's got a Black Orc boss. In fact, I'll show you the armies in a second. But this, we went for kind of like a Badlands terrain, so kind of a bare board, but with some rocky outcrops, just to kind of do something different. And we thought it's like a bit of a border dispute potentially between greenskins, if they have any borders, I don't know, but a kind of get off my land kind of thing. So that was kind of where we were at for that. So here's my son's army. He had Butcha's boys. So Butcha, the Black Orc big boss in the middle of that Black Orc unit, just with 2 hand weapons. When you're a Black Orc big boss, you're solid anyway with just some hand weapons. It's 850 points, so nothing crazy. Full plate armor, I mean, it's awesome. Black Orcs have definitely got better over the years. I feel like possibly at one point they only had light armor, and then it was heavy armor. Now it's full plate armor. So yeah, very good. And their armor has always been, wow, since 6th edition, their armor's always been very chunky. In like 5th edition, they were quite lightly armored. I think they were very lightly armored, but there we go. In terms of the models, that is. So Black Orc big boss. And his unit of Black Orcs, that's a typo. There are only 9 in that unit, which is why there's 9 additional hand weapons. So that's a typo. There were 9, not 10. So there we go. Black Orc big boss and his unit of Black Orc boys, his mob. And then we've got Bogok Deathbags, the shaman who turned up in our last battle report. He's been sent to keep an eye on Butcha. Someone's got to do the babysitting. I guess the war boss on his wyvern has just sent these guys to come and deal with these night goblins that are kind of I can't think of the word. I was going to say like cramping on their style, but no. I can't even think of what it is where you're like trespassing, but there we go. Yeah, these trespassers, these goblins, what are they doing? Just go sort them out, Butcher and Bogok. Keep an eye on Butcher because you know what he's like. So there we go. So he's a level 2 wizard with a lore familiar, particularly. So my son absolutely loves Pillar of Fire and Fireball. And you know what? I can't fault him for it because they are both very good. I tried convincing him to try out Wild Magic, but he just loves those spells too much. And to be fair, they are really good spells. And we made a Pillar of Fire, so he might as well use it. So I'm not really complaining. But yeah, that's why the lore familiar is there basically. So core units then. Took a unit of Orc archers, and as I was looking through, I spotted that they can skirmish. I feel like that's a new thing. I've never seen skirmish be an option for Orc archers. But yeah, so we thought we'd try that out because then you don't have to it's much easier to get all your shots off if you're in a skirmish formation. So I approve of that. Something else I've noticed is Dwarf Rangers can skirmish as well. And I've played a couple of games with Dwarf Rangers with their crossbows skirmishing, and they are awesome. But anyway, that's enough about them. No more dwarves right here. So yeah, Orcs. Who knew? Orcs can skirmish with their bows. So there we go. So he's got a unit of 13 with bows, skirmishing, and that's cool. We talked about the Black Orcs already. He's got a unit of Orcs over here, 20 Orcs with full command. two-hand weapons. Oh, it says shields as well. I don't think we remembered they had shields, but I don't think it mattered at all. It didn't matter at all, so there we go. Apart from the fact that it cost a few more points, like 20 points. There we go. Plus, in the back here, you can just about see the chariot. So an orc war chariot is an orc war chariot, no options. And then the giant is back. Ogog Chunk Stomper himself, clearly recovered from the last battle where he got killed. Oh yeah, he got killed by the Nurgle general, but he's back. He's all patched up, and yeah, ready to do some more stomping. At least that's his plan. We'll see how it goes. So there we go. So that's the orc army. Goblins. So this is the goblin army that I've been working on since I started the channel, and all of my painting videos have been about them. That's not true. I painted some Empire stuff. Most of my painting, all of my good painting, because my Empire stuff has definitely been speed painting very, very rapidly and poorly painted for a game. But there we are. So yeah, I'm rather pleased with how these guys are looking. I think they're looking pretty sweet. Some of them have taken a lot longer than I intended. Like, how long did I spend? Like 12 hours painting the squigs? That's far more than I intended, and about the same amount painting the trolls. There we are. I'm taking way too long. I was trying to paint them quick. Just failed miserably. Ho-hum. So anyway, Eadsplitter's lads, his warband is growing. So we've got Gitrak Eadsplitter himself, who has just got a great weapon. There it is. I really like that model. I've wanted to paint it for a very long time, and now he's done, so that's cool. Nibbler Shroomscoffer, the level 2 wizard, also with the lore familiar, because I particularly like, so I do take Wild Magic. At the moment, I'm enjoying Foot of Gork and the Glare, which is a strength 7 D3 wounds, no armor saves, something like that. So I'm enjoying that. So that's what he took. And then Walloper, with his one-hit wonder on his giant squig, finally has a unit of squig hoppers to go with. So that is very good. So yep, and then the core units, we've got this massive unit of spearmen or spear goblins, with shields and netters and 3 fanatics, and a full command. So their primary purpose is to bump up Eadsplitter's leadership, because he's leadership 6. Yes, because he's a war boss. A 59 point war boss. It's like a Lord level character. Or used to be Lord level. I guess Lord is not a thing anymore. So he probably wouldn't count as Lord level. You're looking at like Orc war bosses. Black Orc war bosses count as Lords. Anyway, so a 59 point war boss. But because he's leadership 6, having Warband in the unit, Warband and Horde, means his leadership gets increased by the rank bonus of this unit. So they get 2 rank bonus for being like a close order infantry unit, but they get an additional rank bonus because they've got the Horde rule, and because they all have Warband, his leadership goes up by the rank bonus. So 6, 7, 8, 9. Leadership 9 is amazing for goblins. That's like, it's unheard of, and I love it. And then we've got Dag and his stickers. They'll stick you with their arrows, with short bows, and then a snotling, the snotters, a snotling swarm. Thrown weapons. I always forget that they've got thrown weapons, but there we go. Dwayne and Steve, the trolls, who have done nothing so far in any of the games that I've played with them. I've played. This is the 4th game, is it? Let me think about this. No, 1, 2, 3. Maybe this is the 4th game. Have we played, how many games? Yeah, I think this is probably the 4th game that I've played with them. I did do early on in the channel when I first played my first couple of games. They were both in there, and they didn't make it into combat in either of those games. And then our first battle report on the channel. they were in that, but they again didn't make it into combat. They just got shot lots. So I think this is their fourth game, and you'll have to wait and see what happens to them. Okay, and finally we've got Wallopers Gollopers, because they are with cavalry, spears, and light armors. Light armor. Bouncing on their squigs. So very, very happy to have these guys turn up. Reinforcements. All right. Cool. So this was deployment. So nothing particularly special here. But yeah, we are deployed basically straight opposite each other. Apart from we've got these in the way, which does hinder a little bit. And obviously there's this big hill in the middle, which actually, I don't know, we didn't use this side of the board. We could have done, but we didn't. So we go. Well, we haven't now. Now I did remember, first thing of the game, my snotlings have Vanguard, because I normally forget. So this is the first time I've remembered. In fact, the first time I've remembered to do any Vanguard movement. But my snotlings have it, and I remembered to use it. So there we go. Okay, so on to the first turn. So I got first turn, and basically moved everything as fast as it could go towards my opponent, my son. My trolls managed to pass their leadership test, which was excellent. I was very pleased about that, because they have almost failed every single leadership test that they rolled. I've been stupid for all of the games. They passed their test, which pleased me greatly. My squigs moved like 13 inches maybe. So they're in open formation, they're not in skirmish formation. They would be so much better in skirmish formation, but if they were in skirmish formation, Walloper couldn't join the unit. So I had to put them in open formation. But I don't think open formation is horrendous for them. I think it's workable. Like I said, I'd much prefer them to be in skirmish formation. In the first 2 games I played with them, I used them wrong. I mean, it was literally the first 2 games I'd ever played of Old World, and I didn't realise that they couldn't skirmish if the boss was with them. In fact, I only did it in 1 game, because the other game I put them separate anyway. But the the skirmish rules state that you have to be the same troop type in order to skirmish. He is monstrous cavalry, they are light cavalry, and so they cannot, even if he was heavy cavalry, he would not be able to join the unit of light cavalry skirmishing. So there you go. So a little bit sad, but I think it might be alright. We'll have to see if it's alright enough for me to want more squig hoppers and war bosses, because I want to have another unit. So I've got a unit of classic squig hoppers, the metal ones. I say classic, 6th edition and some pre-6th edition squig hoppers. So I'd kind of want them, and I also want to make a couple of war bosses out of a mangler squig. I think that would look awesome, but I'm not going to do it if they don't perform well in open order. So you'll have to see how it goes. Okay, so everything else is just moving forwards at full pace, even the archers, apart from the shaman. So the shaman moved forward because he wanted to do some magic, and he did. You can see here he zapped the giant and took a wound off. It was only 1 wound, which is a little bit sad. Out of D3 I was hoping for a bit more, but 1 wound is first blood. There we go. Alright, so and then the carnage began. So you can just about see here the orcs. I use a black arrow to represent a charge. The orcs failed their impetuous test, and they were just in range. He managed to roll a 6. I don't know if he wanted to charge in, but he did charge in. So they were just in range to charge the snotlings, and so they failed their impetuous test and had to do it because the snotlings had Vanguard, right? So they'd already moved 5 inches and then marched 10 inches, so they were just in range of the orcs. The giant, he was scared of my fanatics, and he was anticipating fanatics, and he's never used a chariot before, and so yeah, it was heading towards these guys to slam into them. Meanwhile, the orcs shot some night goblins, and the wizard, as you can probably tell, cast Pillar of Fire just about here, ready to cause some damage. And you can't see where the Black Orcs are. We'll see a top-down shot in a minute, and you'll be able to see the Black Orcs, but they're kind of marching around the side. Okay, so yeah, let's see what happened in the combat, I guess. The Orcs beat up the Snotlings, as if anything else was going to happen, really. And it looks like the Snotlings didn't do a single wound in return. But there you go, it is Snotlings. They're weapon skill 2, strength 2. So yeah, what are you going to do? And that was the end of that turn. So you can see here the Black Orcs moved round, and the things that I just spoke about happened. The Orcs pushed back the Snotlings and didn't follow up. I think partly because they didn't want to get burnt, but also I don't think they wanted to be stuck in combat. I can't remember why he didn't follow up. But yeah, there we go. He didn't. Alright, so that was end of turn 1 for both of us. And we're already in combat. Turn 1 in combat. It's the Vanguard and the Snotlings did that. Okay, so next turn, my trolls again passed their stupidity test and charged into the Orcs. The Snotlings charged into the chariot. You can just about see in the corner. Before all that happened, actually, though, is it before? Yeah, I think it's start of turn phase. The Pillar of Fire moved through. I can't and to damage both units. I can't remember if it did any damage. I don't remember. But that wasn't his key purpose. You'll see his key purpose for moving that through in a minute. So had the fight here. The trolls killed some Orcs. The Orcs injured a troll. And over here, my Shaman cast Foot of Gork. I need to make a Foot of Gork template. That I feel like I might do that as one of my next videos. Is make a Foot of Gork template, because that's just annoying me seeing that blast template there. I want it to be a cool looking Foot of Gork, like our awesome Pillar of Fire would be much better. So there we go. Maybe at the weekend I will make a Foot of Gork. I feel like I will. If I remember at the weekend, I'll make a Foot of Gork template. So there we go. Obviously, the Foot of Gork template doesn't do anything to start off with because it moves in the next turn. So that combat, it looks like the Orcs won that one. Yeah, the Trolls did what? 3 wounds. They've got 2 ranks of banner. They did a wound on the Trolls. Yeah, the different one. Okay, you can't. There's a few things that happened here, and clearly there's no photos. There was no photo taken of this combat. So this combat, it wasn't just the Snotlings that charged in. The Squigs managed to. I'm doing charge in air quotes because you can't charge with a random movement. What you do is you roll the movement and then you move. They had enough movement to get into combat with the chariot, so they moved into the side of the chariot. And them and the Snotlings between them just demolished it. Yeah, here we go. The Pillar of Fire did do some wounds on the Snotlings. So yeah, they just obliterated the chariot. Now, what the mistake I made was I did this combat first. If I'd have done the chariot combat first, then when these guys overran, because they just destroyed it, they would have got to join in this combat. That would have been the move to make. I 100% should have done the chariot combat first, because then they would have actually demolished these guys. But there we go. That's a lesson learnt. Is make sure you do your combats in the right order. So you learn that lesson now, and I'll learn it for next time. So here you go. Here you can see here what he was doing with the pillar was getting in the way of these guys, so that they can charge in and come and help out without taking immense amount of damage. Because I say immense amount of damage. If these guys charge through here, every model that moves through the pillar takes a dangerous terrain test. So that would be what it will hit 4 guys basically per rank. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That 20 goblins would have to take dangerous terrain tests, and every single one that rolls a 1 would die. So that's potentially quite a bit of damage. So that was his move there. It's pretty sensible in fairness. So yeah, that's the end of the turn. I should have done the chariot combat first and charged inside, but the chariot's dead, right? So there we go. That's a win. So yeah, so the chariot didn't actually get to do anything in that this game. So the snotlings overran that way, and the squigs overran this way. And that's the end of the turn. Needless to say, my son was feeling a little bit demoralised by that. But there we go. He'll get over it, probably. Yeah, here you go. You can see as well the orc unit was right next to the foot of Gork earlier on in the turn, but because they won, they defeated the trolls and just pushed them back. The two they had to give ground. Yeah, that's why they're now 2 inches away from the template. All right, great. These guys shot the orcs and did nothing. What I need to do, and my son has pointed this out, is I need to make some arrow markers for shooting units so that we can see them on the board. That is something I need to do. Again, maybe I'll do that at the weekend. I need to remember to do that because I definitely need to do it. Okay, so that was end of my turn 2. So we've already had loads of carnage going on, and it's just about to get even more hectic. This is still turn 2. This is my son's turn 2. Okay, first thing that happens, the vortexes move. Gork moves through, crushes what? 1, 2, 3, 4 orcs, kills a whole troll, and his shaman just like moves a pillar of fire through the fanatics and the squigs and the snotlings. The reason it could do that, he only needed to roll like a 2 or something. When it moves into contact with the unit, it ends the other end of the unit. If it doesn't have enough space to finish this movement, it carries on going. So he angled it so that it got all the squigs and the snotlings, took out a whole base of snotlings and basically the entire unit of squigs. There's 2 left out of 7. That was brutal, a brutal start of turn phase as Gork goes crazy and the shaman just like, I don't know, it's brutal carnage. I'm trying to think, like I can just see him like being cool and calm and just like directing the fire, like some sort of, I don't know, doesn't care, gives no remorse, and just like plows through with a pillar of fire burning everything in his wake. That was horrendous. I was gutted by that, and my son was rather pleased. So yeah, just all these squigs just burst into flames, dying. That was such a sad moment. But there we are. So lots of stuff died there, and that's we're on turn 2, beginning of the turn 2, and just like the magic movement. Anyway, so there we go. So combat phase then. The squigs had charged in, so they went first, and annihilated the unit. But then the giant charged the snotlings, killed the snotlings, overran into the squigs, and just mullered Walloper. Okay, I just remembered why they killed the chariot so easy. Walloper just destroyed the chariot with his one-hit wonder. Anyway, the giant came in and just squished, just like, I don't know, he just destroyed Walloper. So that was pretty brutal. And the troll, the orcs took the troll down, another wound. And I can't remember if the troll did anything. It doesn't really matter. I mean, he had a great weapon, so there's a good chance he did something as well. But either way, those orcs got absolutely mullered. But so did the squigs, courtesy primarily of the pillar of fire. But yeah, Ogonk took out Walloper, squished his squig. So there we go. I won the combat just through the sheer amount of damage I did, but the giant's unbreakable, and the orcs just like gave ground a little bit. So there we go. So the combat kind of moved back together so everyone's in base contact. So yeah, that was a absolutely brutal turn. Like, if we just quickly go back, it was like this at the beginning of the turn. Giant charges in, destroys them, charges in, destroys them. The pillar of fire destroys it, that destroys it. And we're just like, all of these, this is like half of the stuff on the game. And then suddenly we just go down to that. It was absolute carnage. This is why it's Carnage in the Badlands. So yes, there we go. That was such a brutal turn. Alright, turn 2, and half the stuff is dead. Okay, next turn. Oh, beginning of... Whose turn is this? Beginning of my turn. First things first, Gork wanders through and steps on a bunch of goblins. The goblins, however, release the fanatics. One of them makes it into the Black Orcs and takes out a couple. Very good. The other one stays in the way. Was this his turn or my turn? No, I feel like this was my turn. We'll find out in a sec. Oh yeah, and that fanatic goes through. The giant was basically on full health, and he just takes his legs out, and he collapses. And I'm very pleased. So there we go. And it looks like the pillar of fire. I forgot to put a arrow on the pillar of fire, but the pillar of fire has come this way. So yes, that's the fanatics arrow. Combat here. They decimate the orcs. Just the banner bearer left, who runs away, and they all chase him down and kill him. So that's very good. Oh, and the shaman recast Foot of Gork over here because he was literally just near my guys, destroying my guys. So yeah, so that was my turn. Oh, and these guys just like pivoted a little, not pivot, but maneuvered a bit, so they're facing the Black Orcs. At this point, my son was really really not enjoying the game because his orcs are dead, his giants died. These guys are threatening the archers. The fanatics and Gork are like threatening and starting to take out his Black Orcs. He's feeling in a really vulnerable and bad position right now. So yes, so spirits were low on the Orc army at this point. However, the cool, calm, and collected shaman with his pillar of fire just moves it through the fanatic, through the squigs, through the troll, finishes them all off apart from the lone squig hopper, and then suddenly the atmosphere changed, and joy was restored on the orc in the orc army as they all cheer as all these things get taken out. I mean, this shaman, he's just like cool, calm, collected. He's got it all under control, just moving this pillar of fire around, decimating everything. It is brutal. And then on this side, Gork goes directly alongside the Black Orcs and just steps on the fanatic, which frustrated me greatly because I was I had the Black Orcs surrounded. But there we go. So yeah, and this is the Black Orcs turn. Yes, but the other fanatic, however, who did manage to go through the first time and kill 2, comes back again and kills another 4. So he's taken out 6 Black Orcs. He's taken out basically the entire unit. So he's like my man of the match. I don't know if that's strictly true, but he did a lot of damage. But yeah, there we go. So very good. Much rejoicing happened from the Night Goblins. So yeah, so that's the turn. I think he managed to. This was the turn that he managed to miss everything with his archers shooting at my archers. He did, however, get a fireball off on the goblins and killed a few more goblins. But yeah, there we go. Very good. Next turn, he just finishes off the remaining Squighoffer. Sad time. So these guys are now fine from being quite threatened to now being completely fine. I've just spoken a little bit too soon because well, you'll see in a second. So Gork barely moved. He moved that way a little bit. I moved my my goblins up, and the shaman. I feel like the shaman did try and cast the gaze, but failed. It wasn't this turn. It was the next turn. Okay, fine. So you just saw there. Oh, he got shot. Now I'm trying to remember. Yeah, okay. So that was my turn. These were the things that happened in my turn. In his turn, which was, so that's end of turn 4 for me. His turn 4, he just fireballed my guy, which, I mean, you can't blame him. But yeah, and then my shaman died, and that made me sad. Meanwhile, my goblins charged into combat. Did my goblins charge into combat? It was his turn. His orcs charged into combat with my goblins. I forgot to use my nets, which was disappointing. But it didn't really matter too much because they only killed 3, and I killed 2 black orcs in return. I mean, there are a lot of spear goblins here, plus a boss with a great weapon. Confession time. We forgot to use him as a black orc war boss in this round. Just used him as a champion. So there we go. Forgot about that. That's a massive thing to forget. But I won the combat. He didn't really care so much. I think I just pushed him back the 2 inches. And the foot of Gork went that way. There we go. Foot of Gork went that way. And he also moved his archers up as well. Yeah, there we are. So combat has joined there. It is not looking good for the orcs at all. They've got this 1 unit over here, and the black orcs actually got decimated a bit. So my turn, just to make matters worse, my archers managed to take out 3 orcs. That's like the only thing they've done all game, but they did it. Took out 3 orcs. They didn't flee though, so sad times. In this round of combat, this time he took out 3 guys, and I took out the banner bearer, but still neither side was. I was going to say was willing to give ground. That's not true. One of the sides would give ground. I think I pushed him back a little bit. Yeah, I did. Turn 5. So that was good. Managed to kill some archers. Killed another banner bearer. So it's really not looking good over here. It's starting to look bad over here as well, but you can see the Pillar of Fire is making its way back towards the goblins. Okay, on to Orc turn 5. This time, the Orcs did really well. And possibly, that's because a fireball also came their way, because these guys are busy in combat at the top. So he's got no one else to shoot, so he fireballed them, and then they died. Needless to say, they ran away. As fast as their little legs could carry them. I don't know what happened in the combat there. No, I don't know. We may well have forgotten to do the combat. I don't recall. Things were happening quite quick. You'll notice there's not much left on the board. In fact, suddenly that made it look so much better for the Orcs. So over to my turn 6. Remorselessly is Bogok the Shaman just plows the Pillar of Flame on its path, doing its job, takes out another 3 goblins. The Black Orc War Boss managed to hit with all of his attacks and wound with all of his attacks, takes out 4 goblins, but that's not enough to not die, and Eadsplitter with his great weapon does the final killing blow and manages to finish him off. In fairness, he's only a hero, so he's only got 2 wins anyway. Yeah, there we go. That felt very good. I was very pleased by this. So that is looking good over this side. To end my turn, I reform my unit facing this way. So now we've got my archers running away. This is all I've got left actually, and this is all he's got left. But he's also got this really scary looking thing. So final turn of the game. Needless to say, the Pillar of Flame comes back through, kills a couple more goblins. His Fireball comes over, kills the rest of the unit, and we've just got the champion, the boss, and the banner bearer left. Now, bear in mind, the boss's staying power is his unit. He's now leadership 6, which wasn't enough to stop them running away, because they just basically everyone just died. They thought they were, look at this, they've got like a decent sized unit, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 9 of them there. Suddenly now there's 3, and then they ran away. So the game ended with Eadsplitter and his mates, his 2 mates, running away, and Bogok just being like, yeah, that's right. Don't come back. And these guys clearly are very happy about their victory. But Bogok, the actual man of the match, he's only a level 2 wizard, and he basically like single-handedly won the entire game. But yeah, there we go. That was a proper brutal game. It was loads of fun, and yeah, I mean, particularly, I mean, that Pillar of Fire was like killing everything all game. But this right here, this turn was just nuts. So started like this. This is the start of the turn. So many things on it, and then the Gork smashes through, the Pillar of Fire smashes through, the Giant smashes through. Before the Squigs manage to kill them before the Giant comes in and kills the Squigs. It's just absolutely brutal. So yeah, it was a very good game, lots of fun, but absolutely the level 2 Shaman Bogok, completely man of the match, hero of the Orcs, and many Orc sagas. Do they have sagas? Chance will bear his name as long as they remember it. Bogok, Bogok, Bogok. There we are. Cool. Well, there we are. So 850 points. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, it was absolute carnage. But we really enjoyed the game, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. Like I say, a lot of fun. I think I will, by the time we have our next game, I will have a Foot of Gork template done, because that'll look so much nicer. Just need to work out how to do it. I'll probably do some, like, I don't know, crushed some giant footprint in the ground with some stuff crushed underneath it or something like that. And maybe, just maybe, I might have some Mangler Squigs done for the next game. Maybe, I don't know. That's probably a little bit hopeful actually. But I think I'll paint my Mangler Squigs next, because I really want to try them out. I've never tried them out, and they just look cool. But yeah, there we go. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.